This Würth 400 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Naira Bet. Bet the Kentucky Derby by using code SGPN25 for a free $25 bet plus a $200 deposit match bonus at nairabet.com/SGPN25 and start winning today.
Start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network and the most awkward 10 seconds of your entire life. Again, for those of you on the audio stream, you'll have absolutely no idea what we're talking about, but it is yet another day trying to get acquainted to our new our new surroundings. And so if things get a little clunky, we're 612 episodes into it and we're still learning a thing or two. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Welcome to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I think I already said that already. I don't know. I'm discombobulated, but Cody, buddy, it's been a weekend.
It's been a weekend, Rod. Talladega was something. Yeah, we'll go with that. Talladega was something. And now it's Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the bets. I brought a lot of them this week.
Yeah, well, you sure did. Yeah, and the bigger betting card for Texas, and hopefully your wallets get bigger after Texas, as I know after Talladega, a lot of them shrunk up, smaller than Joey Logano's chances of winning after being DQ'd. But yeah, listen, Talladega, obviously we can't spend a whole lot of time rehashing it, but I will say that it was everything we thought it would be and then some, because we preached to you that chaos was going to rule the day. And chaos ruled the day, no matter what it looked like, whether it was on the track, off the track, around the track, through the track. It didn't matter. Talladega was just unpredictable as it always is.
Yeah. It was very interesting. Anticlimactic Xfinity finish. I get it. Zilich hit the wall hard. You definitely needed to get an aid car out there. I think you could probably do that while they race back to the line and then slow down. I feel like in 2025, maybe not in the ARCA series, right? ARCA brakes are not good sometimes, but I feel like we're big boys and girls in Xfinity and could probably handle that, but whatever. But yeah, the Cup race was, I don't know, it was a good race. I think, like a lot of people saying it was a bad. I don't know, it was a bad race. Not a lot of chaos, which is what we look forward to and build around. So that hurts. We did hit the Michael McDowell 16-1 fastest lap. So that was about the only positive on the day. But I don't know. Just it was kind of an weekend.
Yeah. No, and then really, again, all told, this is why we tell you to go light, because if you went heavy on Jeb Burton at 125-1, and all of a sudden he comes up literally a picture.
if you're leading in 2 of the 3 photos, should you not be the winner? Just saying.
No, but they said that. But they said, Cody, that it's not. He wasn't leading in all the photos, right? I mean,
He was leading in 2 of the 3.
did he need his tongue sticking out? I'm telling you right now. Did he need?
Pretty sure he had his tongue sticking out. We just couldn't see it.
Truth Matter says he wishes Jeb would have won Saturday. He wanted that bad. I was so disappointed right there too. Yes. Justin joining us saying first live show in a couple of weeks. Let's go. Dega gone. Now time for some real racing. Elliott 16-1 best on the board. Ooh. Little Joker says we didn't get wrecked. We led laps and Legato got credit for last place. Sunday was a good day. Ice Cube voice. Yes, for sure. Experts suck. Neither DK or FD have top finisher market up yet. I know. We got him on Bet365 though.
Slow. They're a little slow, but they'll get around there eventually.
Yep. We'll make sure that we get that going in the Discord as well. All right, listen, we want you to support SGPN's free content. Take a second to give 5 stars, subscribe if you haven't already on all of your favorite platforms, be it YouTube, be it whatever. I mean, wherever you get your podcast, subscribe there. The downloads come automatically if you do that, and for sure, we appreciate that. And the 5-star reviews go a long way in keeping this show going, because if we hadn't had as many as we've had before now, I think we'd be pulled off the air. So thanks for supporting and keep doing it.
Yeah, it really does help. Like we do, it's free content, right? There's some commercials you got to listen to because we got to get paid somehow, right? We can't do this completely free, but it is free for you. You don't have to pay for it. And biggest way you can help us out, subscribing to YouTube, leave those 5-star ratings and reviews, Spotify, Apple, whatever other thing you're using, because bosses take big notice of that, helps us in all the AI overlord algorithms, all that fun stuff. So, we appreciate it.
We certainly do. All right. Last thing about Talladega before we move on to Texas is that if you want to dive deeper into each one of these races, as we're plugging our free content, go to the Discord, because that is where pretty much all the rest of the conversation happens regarding, and it's 24/7, guys. You can open it up the next morning and find that you've missed 75 pieces of a thread, and you have to go scrolling back through to get it all in there. And it's a lot of great discussions. It's a lot of great takes, a lot of early bets. I mean, even before we get the show out, half the time people's betting cards are full. So make sure you hit that Discord, sg.pn/Discord.
Yeah. Live bets. Who looks the fastest, Rod? It's all in there.
Yep. And all the Hocevar love you could possibly want, which I know is coming later on.
You'll get that on this show too. I appreciate you putting him on the graphic for the YouTube there. He looks very nice.
Did you like the picture that I picked?
Well,
for him?
I mean, with the cowboy hat like that for Texas, you got to do it.
I knew it. I saw it coming in the Discord. I saw
today chili sales are up like 40% over last year or something. So ride the Dente, I guess. He's the one driving the Chili's car. I think that there's really only one conclusion for why chili sales would be up, Rob.
It's because I keep going there despite my best efforts to stay away. They've got too good of deals, man. I can't help it if I don't like the driver they pull. But all right, we are at, like you said, the Texas Motor Speedway. I feel like it's just become a bit at this point. Like, I got nothing personal against the guy. Now it's just become a bit. So sorry, Carson. Just know that, like I said, I'll have a beer with you when you're old enough. But until then, let's just keep the bit going. All right, Texas Motor Speedway. We are here for 267 laps around this 1.500 mile paid track for 400.500 miles for the Würth 400, presented by Leaky Molly. Leaky Molly.
It's a family show, Rod. Jeez.
Hey, I'm just saying. NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark, brought to you by Liquid Molly. No, that's probably a Holy moly, liquidy moly. I don't care. Whatever.
Molly. Are we talking about drugs now? Where'd this go?
Bro, I don't know. Like I said, man, I'm discombobulated. This house is too new. I still don't know where my light switches are. But the Würth 400, which was at Dover before, now it's in Texas, and we're gonna celebrate it here this coming weekend.
We absolutely are. Wanted to finish catching up on the chat, Rod. Oops. There we go. Oh, boy. This is learning all the buttons here. Greetings and salutations, fine gents, from Andrew. Dos Flacco saying, cheers, boys. Dos Flacco says it's Brad K week. It is Brad K week, Rod, in a certain way, which we'll talk about here in a minute. I think he loves the cold open. TK checking in with the cricket from, again, we're trying to figure out this out. Brendan Smith checking in. First time I've seen him in the chat, says, sup, bitches? What's up, Brendan?
Ooh,
How's it going?
what's up?
Little joker comparing us to Fox. Show came on right to commercials. We'd fit right in. So yeah. Bet or oops. Oh boy. Jeez, I gotta figure this out. The experts suck checking in. Might just have to get a Bet 365. Come for NASCAR. Not a sponsor, but they got some pretty good options in a general sense. Ash checking in from across the pond. Byron over Hamlin. The head-to-head for him this weekend.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I like that.
Let's go. Oh,
Rye
Rye
Cape
checking
checking in.
too. What's up, Rye?
We did it again.
There it is. What's up, Rye?
Hey, by the way, go check out the show that I was on, and then of course keep checking out the show that Rye Cape and I was on. Man, I'll tell you, that was a lot of fun talking NASCAR, and man, we were so close to that Jeb Burton, just so damn close to that Jeb Burton.
So close. Yes, Rye reached out to me too. I'm going to be joining him. I got a couple of busy weekends. Softball just started. Just got approved today, Rod. Got the email. I'm going to be at Kansas Speedway with the media credentials. So if you're going to be at Kansas Speedway next weekend, hit me up. Yeah, love to meet some of you folks there. So it'd be a great time. All right, should we get into this, Rod?
Yeah, why don't you hit the entry list, and then we'll go to break, and then we'll come back and we'll start laying down some bets.
I don't know if we need to hit it, but we'll just talk about it. I think that'd probably be a better way to go about it. There is 38 entries
NASCAR After
for 38 entries for 40 spots in the NASCAR Cup Series. So everybody will make the race. Get your 36 regulars. No, nothing changing or shocking there. Jesse Love returning in the number 62 car this time. So Beard Motorsports running back-to-back weeks. They've got Love in that car this week. I would imagine there is some RCR support there. And Chad Fincham is going to be in the 66 for Garage 66. Love is going to come up on the show, Rod. So, yeah, there you go. That's about it.
Well, you know, we love us some love, and we got to show the love. And we'll show love to everybody as we come back with our bets for the Texas Motor Speedway. But first, allow me to tell you about Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. There's no usage fees, no minimums. You can earn cash back rewards and 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match that deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. It is Derby week at SGPN. Make sure to check out our horse racing podcast, Notorious OTB, for all of your picks. The Wolf of Oaklawn, that is one smart cat, especially when it comes to horse racing. So make sure you go check out that show. Plus, get in on the action of one of the most exciting 2 minutes in sports with Naira Bets. Sign up today and boost your Derby bankroll with a $25 free bet and $200 deposit bonus with promo code SGPN25. Join now to claim your $25 free bet and a $200 deposit match bonus at nairabets.com/SGPN25. Let me tell you all about our friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs, plus props for every single game. For the true D-Gens, the MyBookie money bag, MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. You get easy deposits and lightning fast payouts using cryptocurrency. Tell you what, I really do love me all of my favorite bets over on like esports. And if you love Aussie rules football, there's a ton of stuff on there as well. Plus all those sports that you've come to know and love. So make sure you get down over there on that. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right, Cody, I believe it is time to start laying down some of our favorite bets for this Würth 400 at the Texas Motor Speedway.
I believe you are correct, Rod. We're going to head over to ESPN Bet. They got a couple of good matchups that I like, so we're going to start off with those. Chase Briscoe over Joey Logano, minus 105 over on ESPN. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted Chase Briscoe to start the year out slow, struggle. He was just being way overvalued, too much fluff, too much love. Hit the road a little bit rocky to start. They ease off, and then suddenly we get matchups against Joey Logano. This is where we pounce. Things have been looking better for Chase Briscoe. And actually sneakily good here at Texas in the next gen era. So Texas, 1.5 mile track, intermediate racetrack. It's is not the same as Kansas and Las Vegas. It's kind of unique in its own way, but those are probably going to be your closest comps is just because you're looking at other intermediates. So you can look at Charlotte, you can look at Vegas, you can look at Kansas. Obviously, we've been to Vegas already this year. I pulled a little bit from Darlington because that's an intermediate we've been to this year. Even Miami, not a direct comparison for sure, but an intermediate we've been to this year just to kind of get an idea. And we've had 3 next-gen races here. Last year's race was kind of an interesting finish. Craziness at the end that really shook things up. But that being said, in the next-gen era here, over those 3 races, Chase Briscoe has the 3rd best average finish out of all drivers here. Only William Byron and Brad Keselowski have a better average finish. 7.0 is where he's at. 6th, 10th, 5th place finishes. Logano in those 3 races, 11th, 20th, and 2nd. So the last 2, really, I guess, Briscoe beat Logano already in the Stewart-Haas Fords. Now you put him in that 19 car, which is a fast Joe Gibbs racing car. I did not realize as I was building my card this week, and actually I'm going to get into this in one of the bets in a little bit, a lot of Toyota love for me this week. And it wasn't even planned. That wasn't like all in on Toyota. Just as I was doing my research, as I was looking at things, I kept leaning more and more towards Toyota. So I like that. You go back and you look at Vegas, 17th place for Chase Briscoe. Joey Logano was 15th, so got him by a couple of spots. Briscoe was actually 4th at Miami, whereas Joey was in 14th place. And Chase Briscoe, again, it started the season slow, started the season a little bit bumpy, but he's been top 10 rather, in 3 of the last 4 normal ovals. We're going to throw Talladega out, although beat Joey Logano there because, of course, Joey was disqualified. But you're getting a strong Joe Gibbs racing car, the 19 car. We know how strong that car is, over Joey Logano, who, could he show up and have a great day? Yes, of course he could, right? He does sometimes. Could he be racing Catherine Legg for 37th place all day? She's not in this race, but if she was, he could be, because you get either one from him. Briscoe, you've started to see it kind of come together. I think it's going to continue. So give me Chase Briscoe over Joey Logano. That's a -105 over on ESPN. And then Rod brought this one up in the Discord, but of course he's not going to pull the trigger. I believe it's Dos Flacco said it's Brad K week. It is Brad K week, Rod, and I think we both agree that it's fade Brad K week. He has the 2nd best average finish here in the next-gen car, but things have not been going good for the guy who is 30-something in points right now. Yes, Justin also with the odd year Logano. Thank you very much. Another great point to my negative Logano side of things, right? Almost got his first top 5 last week, Rod, only to be snatched away. But back to Brad Keselowski. You're going to fade him this week, taking Tyrone Gibbs over Brad Keselowski, -125. This is sort of an interesting matchup, and we kind of had this discussion in Discord, but how do they pick these 2 cars? I don't really know. I think that they're looking at how good Brad's been here, because if you look at the 3 years, Keselowski is really good. He's lights out, right? At 2nd best average finish out of all the drivers. He's had 3 good runs. But you look at what he's done this year, things have not been so good. So for Ty Gibbs, coming off of a 3rd place at Bristol a couple of weeks ago, 9th at Darlington, intermediate, had a 13th place run at Martinsville, not comparable in any way other than recency, like things were getting better, right? 13th, 9th, 3rd place, kind of some of the last couple of races we've had here. 2 top 10s in the last 3 races, of course, in that. Keselowski, no top 10s all season. 16th at Bristol, 33rd at Darlington. Of course, last week, wrecked out early in the race, right? 26th at Martinsville, 26th at Miami. Now, he did have an 11th place finish in Las Vegas. As close as he got to a top 10 intermediate track, so I will give him credit for that. And he's 3 for 3, beating Ty Gibbs at Texas in the next gen. But where we're at right now, you know how much I love RFK. I'm about to talk about both other RFK drivers later on in this show, but it has not been good for Brad Keselowski right now. Things are just going horrible for the 6 car for that team. They need to get some stuff figured out. I still have faith that they will at some point in time, but until we see it, the 54 car, as we've noted, has really started to figure some stuff out here lately, Rod, whether you want to admit it or not. He's been running a lot better than Keselowski, as Rod shakes his head no. So give me Tyrone Gibbs over Brad Keselowski at -125 over on ESPN.
Yep, that's a definite just stay away from me. I don't care about either one of them. And in fact, so much so that I'm going to take a Brad Keselowski head-to-head, and I'm going to fade him as well. I'm going to take Ross Chastain over Brad Keselowski. This one's minus 125. You can find that over on DK right now. And like you said, I mean, this has been Brad Keselowski's track for the better part of the last, especially the next gen era, in terms of being fast. I mean, his average speed rankings chart here puts him 8th place overall, and his average finishing position here in the next gen era puts him 2nd behind William Byron and right above Chase Briscoe. So average finishing position for him 5.7. But that's Brad Keselowski of a couple of, or even last season. That's not the Brad Keselowski of this season. And if you look at the Brad Keselowski of this season, Cody already laid it out. Not good. Chastain, I mean, not really all that better in certain aspects, but Ross Chastain has beaten Brad Keselowski in every single race except for 2. The only 2 in which Ross Chastain has not gotten the better of Brad Keselowski this season was at Daytona, when Brad Keselowski finished 26th and Ross Chastain finished 40th. And then you have to go all the way to Miami, where Ross Chastain finished 36th and Brad Keselowski finished 26th. So it's not as if he put a whooping on him. It wasn't as if Brad Keselowski finished in 3rd and Ross Chastain finished in 36th. No, this is like literally something happened to Ross Chastain to make it to where he didn't necessarily beat him, right? It wasn't just because of the speed let him out. You look at the last few weeks for Ross Chastain, right? 6th at Martinsville, 7th at Darlington, 7th at Bristol, 20th at Talladega, but he still finished better than Brad Keselowski, who finished in 36th, where, you know, like Cody just laid out with Brad Keselowski, the last few finishes for him, 26th at Miami, 26th at Martinsville, 33rd at Darlington, 16th at Bristol, 36th at Talladega. This is not confidence in Brad Keselowski's season right now. And the experts said, woo boy, glad you said fade Brad K. He can continue to be dead to him. There's a lot of disgruntled Brad Keselowski. Although Toast Flacco says, let me know Sunday how that Brad K crow tastes. I will tell you that I will not be eating any, because Brad Keselowski will once again disappoint you. At what point this season have you looked at Brad Keselowski and go, that's a good driver to back this season? You haven't. And I don't think you're going to this week either, no matter how good he's at this track. And I get it. I understand. I know that people are like, but he's so good at this track. Yeah, but he's so good at a lot of other tracks too, and he stunk it up. So yeah, give me Ross Chastain over Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, I really like this one. I'm sorry if you're on YouTube. I don't know what happened to my camera, but I'll try and get it fixed. Again, new home where we're trying to reside here, and I don't know what's going on. But yeah, Keselowski, I get it. At Texas specifically, he's been extremely, extremely good in the next gen era. And you look at that, and that can somewhat give you pause. But looking at the season and how things have gone, it's just to a point where you have to fade him until we see something different. If there's something there, and if he has a good week this week, good. I want to see him do good. I've been saying all since the offseason he's going to be good this year, but he hasn't been. So until we see it, I think that we got to continue to fade him.
But you guys know, too, that I've been on Brad Keselowski so much this season also. I kept saying that I'm waiting for this to happen. I'm tired of waiting for it to happen. And until he shows me otherwise, and if it's this week, it's this week. That's great. But I'm so tired of waiting. I'm going to take Chastain, because even if Brad Keselowski still has a good day, I still think Chastain can have just a slightly better day, because Chastain's been pretty damn good all up and down this place as well. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, give me Chastain over Keselowski. And as we lose Cody, that's all right. We will let's step away. Let's go to break real quick. And when we come back, we will tell you all the rest of our bets as we've got for this Würth 400. But allow me to take this opportunity to show you and tell you about our friends over at Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs and MLB prop market with Rhythm. Building your own model is simple and easy, and Rhythm knows that you'll love it. That's why they include a 7-day free trial. Love me some building out MLBs. I want to know how many home runs every single night that my boy, Mr. Judge, is about to hit. So I build models for that as well. Rhythm also has some amazing deals going on right now. 25% off a monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off an annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Get your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, and we are back, and so is Cody. Hi, buddy.
Hey,
Good to
there
see
I
you.
am. Good to see you. Ash saying that I just faded like Brad Keselowski's form. Scott checking in saying to fade Cody. All right, bring it on.
You did fade it away.
Yeah, fade me. Go for it. I will say, bringing this up, I will like to say at this point in time, speaking of current form and what have you done for me lately, I might be tabling the fade Kyle Larson on super speedways, Rod. Second place finish this weekend, third across the line, but second on the scoreboard at the end of the day. Starting to see some things I like from the driver of the number 5 again, greatest race car driver in the world. And that is the thing about betting on this is you can have your takes, you can have your things, but you've got to adjust when it's time to adjust. Big on Brad Keselowski. I love him. I said he was going to have a great season, but he's not, and that's where you have to learn to adjust on things. We've made a shit ton of money off the Larson thing on super speedways. I'm not worried about that. The track record, I was trying to figure it out. I think we've done something like 21 or 26. I don't know. I'll go back and super speedway shows like on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. So, and we faded Larson every single time. That's worked out at least 20 of the time. So we're very much in the black, but might be time to bench that one for a bit.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well then, Cody, now we're commercial free the rest of the way. So let's continue down the board.
You don't want to throw a commercial like right before our last pick, Rod?
Oh my God. Please. We got 8 laps to go. Now's a great time to go side by side.
That I typically will defend commercials. That's how they pay the bills, right? Like it was on Big Fox this week. So like it's free. You don't have to pay for the thing, whatever. But yeah, commercial with 8 laps to go, even if it's side by side and at Talladega. It's not like Larson's just like lapping the field at Bristol, whatever. Yeah, very interesting decision. But nonetheless, all right, Rod, let's go over to the top 10 market. Chase Elliott, top 10, even money. I know our guy Justin said at the top of the show in the comments there that Elliott to win this week is the bet of the week. I don't know if I'm going to go that far. He did win here last year. Wasn't necessarily because he was the fastest car or best car. You did have him that day, I think at 16-1, 18-1. It was a similar number. So if you like that, definitely would consider it. But there were some circumstances that led to it. But he did win this race last year, 11th place in 2023. So just outside of the top 10, of course. But go back and you look at this season. 8th place at Darlington, again, intermediate track. 10th place at Las Vegas, intermediate track. He's been top 10 in 6 of 10 this year. And actually, if you take out the 3 super speedway races where he's not finished in the top, or he's finished in the top 10 in one of them, but it's 5 of 7 races this season on non-super speedways that he's been inside the top 10. Go back to last year, 19 top 10 finishes for Chase Elliott. Just a consistent season. And I think he only had 3 finishes worse than 21st all year long. He's a consistent driver. You even go back to last year and look at intermediates. 5th at Miami, had a 33rd at Vegas, happens, right? 9th at Kansas, 11th at Darlington, 7th at Charlotte, 12th at the first Darlington, 3rd at Kansas 1. He won here, of course, 12th at Vegas. So consistent from Elliott. He's not been Larson. He's not been Byron, where those guys can go out, dominate these races. That's not been what he's been lately, but he's been a consistent driver who can get you a top 10. Love Chase Elliott for the top 10. Speaking of Chase Elliott and the Hendrick Motorsports drivers, Alex Bowman, top 10 as well, plus 130. 37th place finish here last year. Not great. Actually has not finished in the top 10 in any of the 3 next-gen races at Texas. That's the only little bit of a hold-up here. But he's been top 10 in 6 of 10 so far this year. 7th at Vegas, 2nd at Miami. Go back to last year again, intermediates. 7th at Miami, 5th at Las Vegas, 6th at Kansas, 9th at Charlotte, 7th at Kansas 1, 8th at Darlington 1. A lot of consistent good finishes from Alex Bowman. Continues to just kind of be in the mix. Earlier this season when we were in that take Alex Bowman top 10 every week, we faded at Phoenix. We didn't do it because, track history hadn't been good. Yet he showed up, he got the top 10. We should have bet on it. That's the thought that I'm taking into this one is 37th last year, shit happens, right? He got in a wreck, obviously, and didn't finish the race. You can't handle or you can't control things like that. But 12th the year before, not bad. And just the way he's been running over the last couple of seasons, love Alex Bowman, plus 130. Going to jump back on that train, being at a more normal, quote-unquote, track. Once again, this is the type of place to jump on him. JDK wants the Suarez top 10. I don't have the Suarez top 10, but I do have a long shot top 10, and it is Ty Dillon, 14-1 for a top 10 finish. Rod, I was just kind of floored at how good Ty Dillon has been at Texas. The last 3 times he's been here, 16th, 19th, 16th. He's never been in a good car ever in his entire life. This year in Colleague is the best ride he's ever had. Now, he's been with Colleague previously, but the cars were not as good then. When he was Aspire in the 77, it was bad. He was in the 42, but Legacy was not good team at that point. Well, I don't know if they are yet either now, but yes. Yeah, and actually it was RPM, wasn't it, still? Richard Petty, or what were they? Were they calling themselves something in between?
Petty Motorsports?
Was it just Petty?
Yeah.
Or wasn't Petty GMS? That's what it was.
That's right, Petty GMS.
Yeah, but not great then either. So but back in 2018, in the 13 car, the Geico car, he had a 13th place finish here. He's been pretty good on this track over the years. Okay, well, what has he done this year? Intermediates, 16th place at Darlington, 15th place at Miami. You like those? 21st place at Vegas is not bad. Had a 16th place finish at Phoenix, not an intermediate, but I tossed that in here because they played the strategy so right. If he didn't have that penalty late, he might have won that race because he was the only guy with tires left. So I like what I've seen out of Ty Dillon this season. We've brought him up multiple times on the DFS episode. He's consistently been a very, very strong cheap play for DFS. I think he's very much alive for a top 10 finish this week. And I think it's going to be a topic on the broadcast once again, like, wow, look at this run Ty Dillon's been having today. He's got an 18th place average running position. That's what you want from a guy at 14-1, right? Just be close enough to strike for that top 10 near the end of this race. It's a track he's got pretty good history on. Again, you look through a lot of Ty Dillon stuff and it's not great. He's been in a lot of shitty cars. He's just not ever been a good driver, and he's never had a ride like his brother has at RCR or anything, but he has been consistent, and this year he's really done really well in that Colleague equipment. We think that the Colleague equipment has stepped up, probably an engine deal. That's why Ty got in that car, right? But it's actually paying off for the team and for Ty. So I really like Ty Dillon top 10 at 14-1 this week.
And for those of you who are on iFantasy Race and Ty Dillon, 13th in terms of the overall next-gen average finishes on the heat chart. So just outside of that
at
range.
14-1, 3 spots outside of the top 10.
What you like to see. That's exactly what you like to see out of that. So just to further your point, and he's definitely one of those guys that they'll be looking for around the top 10, just like JDK says, did I miss the Suarez top 10 yet? No, because guess what? It's me. I've got that Suarez top 10. Suarez top 10 plus 220 over on Bet365. You talk about that average finish heat chart. Young Daniel Suarez, 4th place on that list behind names like William Byron, Brad Keselowski, Chase Briscoe. He's got an 8.3 average finish on this track in the next gen era, 12th in 2022, 8th in 2023, and then 5th in 2024. And listen, earlier this season, a 2nd place at Las Vegas. So no, Daniel Suarez has not been lighting up the track lately, and no Trackhouse hasn't necessarily been lighting up the track lately. But we know that Daniel Suarez can pop up and have himself a good race every once in a while, like he did in Las Vegas. And the thing about Las Vegas, he led 12 laps in that race, right? He started in 23rd position and drove his way all the way up. Strategy or no strategy, whatever. He managed to get himself there at the end. He was 15th at Darlington a couple of weeks ago, 9th last week at Talladega. So, Daniel Suarez, like I said, not lighting the world on fire, but for some reason, this track in particular is a pretty good track. Now, how does this differ, you say, than Brad Keselowski, who's had a great track record here and pretty much a junky season all the way around? Well, first of all, because I say so, but really, second of all, because for Daniel Suarez, look, he did put up a pretty good intermediate finish this year in 20th position, or in 2nd position, rather. Yeah, he's had some bad luck in Atlanta, crashed out on a road course. I get that. 23rd at Phoenix. All right, that's not good. 22nd at Homestead, 21st at Martinsville, 33rd at Bristol. I can write all that stuff off for Daniel Suarez, because for Daniel Suarez, he's not always consistently at a top 10 level. And you know that there's tracks in which Daniel Suarez is better than he is anywhere else, right? Where Brad Keselowski is supposed to just be good everywhere. Daniel Suarez has tracks where he's comfortable at. And for whatever reason, Texas is one of those tracks. And you've seen it the last next gen era. In fact, most of the next gen era. So for Daniel Suarez at plus 220 for a top 10, I feel like he's just going to ride around, be comfortable, and finish somewhere in the top 10 by the end of the day. So I like that at plus 220.
There's a few drivers that are just like they've got their handful of spots, right? And you can just count on this guy to be good at this track each and every time. He might suck 3 weeks leading up to it. He might suck 3 weeks after. And Daniel Suarez is one of those guys. It's like you're like, oh, God, he's having a good run. And you look like, oh, yeah, this is one of the tracks he's good at. It's just that's how he operates. And I don't know why it is or what makes it that way, but he definitely is one of those drivers. So no argument from me there when that's where we're at, with how he seems to run.
Indeed. Nick checking in earlier saying, good afternoon, Hot Rod, Sassy Cody, enjoying that Casey Kane shirt.
Yeah, it's the number 5, baby. Look at that. Oh, yeah. The good old
King
Farmers Hendrick. I can't believe I've had this shirt for a long ass. I can't even. God, it's probably been 10 or 15 years since he drove that car. I've had this shirt for that long, but it's still going, baby.
It is still going, much like the Toyotas on a super speedway aren't still going. But Cody, you still love them on this track nonetheless.
Hey, they tried. Props to them for actually racing. I know somebody mentioned that in the chat earlier as well.
Can I just stand up for Ross Chastain real quick? What's he supposed to do?
Dude, Denny was. It was funny because Denny on his podcast, he's just giving Ross the business, right? And he makes the comment, if that would have been Carson Hocevar, he would have gave him a whole list whole earful afterwards. And then I'm thinking, if that would have been you, Denny, you would have done the same fucking thing. So, and then on Door Bumper Clear, they're like, oh yeah, great move by Ross. Like, that's what you got to do there. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what you got to do there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but okay. Anyways, speaking of Toyotas, Rod, I am going to go with. So as I mentioned before, just kind of as I was building out my card, I kept, I like this Toyota, I like this Toyota, I like this Toyota, I like that Toyota, and so I saw over 3.5 Toyotas in the top 10 at plus 135 on Caesars. I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to take it. I am just feeling Toyota this week. I'm going to talk about him more in a little bit, but very big on Bubba Wallace this weekend. He's returned in 23-11, I think. In a general sense, specifically Bubba, though, has returned to the 1.5 mile speed we saw from them a couple of years ago, where it was like, holy shit, they're fast, they're good. Bubba's had that. I love him to be in the top 10 this week. And then Reddick included with that, I like as well. When they've been good, Denny's also been good. So you get those 3 guys. You've also got Christopher Bell in there. I already talked about Chase Briscoe, who I think is going to have a good week and who's been good here. You toss in Ty Gibbs with that. Nemechek and Jones, you can't count them out. They've had some decent runs here lately, but there is enough good, fast Toyotas in this at plus 135. As I was building my card, I talked earlier about Briscoe. I talked earlier about Gibbs. I'm going to talk about Bubba some more. I'm going to talk about Reddick some more. I'm going to talk about Briscoe some more. And I did not talk about Bell. I'm not talking about Hamlin because of odds, but they should be good. They should be fast as well. Give me the over 3.5 for Toyotas. Then I'm also going to stick, that's on Caesars, by the way, and I'm going to stick on Caesars for Group F. You got Zane Smith over there, plus 220. This one is over Jesse Love, Ricky Stenhouse, and Justin Haley. I know that we love Jesse Love, and we do, and we think he's a great driver. Obviously, we've seen in Xfinity how good of a driver he's been, and he's got a future in the Cup Series, no doubt. But he's in the Beard 62 car, a car that typically only runs on super speedways, probably prepped by RCR, yes. Is that a positive right now? Probably not, right? I don't know. But also his goal is to be out there to learn. It was well documented at Bristol, right? He called all these drivers, talked to all these people. He wants to earn the respect. He's out there to log laps. He ran 17 full Bristol races before the actual race. Wants to stay out of the way. He's not going to be pushing things. His goal is just to complete all the laps, get to the end of the race. It doesn't matter where he finishes, which is great. You love that for him, but he's probably not going to beat all these guys in this group. So kind of just can knock him right out of the group immediately, basically. For Rick, so let's start with Zane Smith, who's the guy I'm taking in this group, and he's at plus 220. 26th place last year, 23rd place in 2024 or 2020. I did that backwards. 24th place in 2023. Wow. Okay. That was harder than it should have been. So not great finishes at Texas in the other 2 starts here, but one of those was in the part-time 38 car at the time, that was actually when he was filling in for Gilliland, who almost got fired from front row. Crazy how fast things change, right? But Gilliland, they couldn't sell the whole season for him. So Zane came up, ran some races, So 24th was not a bad finish that year. 26th last year in that 77 car early in the season. Well documented how not good that car was early in the season. So I'm throwing that out. But you look at what he's done for you lately, especially on intermediates. 12th place at Darlington, 11th place at Miami, 23rd at Vegas. Okay, not the best, but not horrible, right? Last year, though, good runs to end the season on intermediate. 16th at Vegas, 10th at Kansas, 7th at Michigan. Great runs there. Love what I've seen from Zane. Obviously, he's established now in that 38 car and has been running well so far this season. Stenhouse, always a wild card. He could pop up and have good races. 33rd place here last year, so not good. But 9th place two years ago. So, again, can pop up and have good races. 27th the year before, though, so not great in a general sense. 25th at Darlington, 24th at Miami, 17th at Vegas. Not good in any of the 3 intermediates this year so far, really. Last year to end the year at those tracks I mentioned with Smith, 27th at Vegas, 28th at Kansas, 13th at Michigan. So doesn't beat him in any of those. Justin Haley, 24th, 13th, and actually finished 3rd here a couple of seasons ago in the colleague car at Texas. So he's had some good runs. Where are we at on him? Who knows? 24th at Darlington, but 10th at Miami. 14th at Vegas was decent. He definitely scares me the most out of this group, but his crew chief is changing now, right? Childers left after 9 races. And part of the reason they say that was he's like too quiet and beating himself up. Like nothing that presumes confidence coming out of that camp, certainly. So interesting that, again, all those changes. But, going back to the end of last year, 17th at Vegas, 33rd at Kansas, 20th at Michigan. So I really like Zane Smith in this group. I think he's been having a solid season. I think Love is the easy one in this group to count out. Stenhouse, again, he could pop up and have good runs, but more times than not, he doesn't have great runs. Haley's the guy I'm most concerned about in Aspire car, which have done better this year for sure. But give me Zane Smith a plus 220.
I love me some Zane Smith. And, for Stenhouse and Haley, they both register okay on this track in particular. And, you think, well, Haley may be the one that you're a little bit scared of because as we look at Haley's finishes here, you're like, okay, he's 9th overall in the heating chart for the iFantasy race over at 13.3. But, again, a 24th place finish last season just doesn't necessarily scream a whole lot of confidence at you. So I like this. I'd take this with you as well. All right. Here's what we got.
Yeah, going back to Ash's comment here real quick, saying that Suarez plus 250 and Ty Dillon 16-1 over on Bovada for the top 10s there. If you do get Bovada, that's a great place, which actually everybody gets Bovada. So if you have a Bovada account, good place to get them. And Expert Suck was asking quick, Kyle Busch or Bubba Wallace top 5? Easily a Bubba Wallace for me. A plus 275. Not the greatest number in the world. It didn't make my card, but I'm about to talk more about Bubba here in a minute, and I think that we're in for a good weekend from him.
Well, and I also think we're in for a decent weekend from Kyle Busch. I'm not going to go all the way to a top 5, but I will take him as a top 10, plus 135. Plus 130 over on Bet365. It's time. Kyle, it's time. It's time to turn your season around. It's time to figure something out because you're running out of time, I think. I think that the patience for not just him, but for that entire team is starting to wane rather thin. Disappointing finish at Talladega last week, 27th place. He ran all 188 laps, but did not make it. He started on the outside pole, too. It was a fantastic start for him, right? And a fantastic start for the team. But boy, that evaporated real quick. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, 10th place at Darlington, which is fine. 8th place at Phoenix. 33rd at Vegas after starting in 4th place. Like if there is a track, and we talk about this, especially like we did with Daniel Suarez, if there's a track in particular that this should be his track, it should be Texas. Finishes of 9th place last year after starting 35th, right? And that was in the 8 car. Another frustrating day for him the year before, though, as he started 7th and finished in 34th. He's won this race, right? I mean, it's just a matter of Kyle Busch has got to get something figured out. 19 top 10s and 34 starts, 14 top 5s over the course of that, and 4 wins. This is a track he's good at. And I know that, you're going to say to me, oh, but Rod, you said that Brad Keselowski is good at every track too. Yeah, but not Kyle Busch good. Like I wouldn't put them in the same category when it comes to tracks that they're dominant at. right? When Kyle Busch is dominant at a track, he's dominant at a track. And that's that you can't argue with that. Now, the difference is here, I'm not going top 5 all the way because I don't want that stress. I don't want to stress for him to get in the top 5. I think he can sneak his way into a top 10 finish if he manages to run as well as he's supposed to be able to run, right? I mean, he's fast. I say that with some level of not necessarily confidence behind it. 9th overall in the speed rankings chart when it comes to this particular track, according to iFantasy Race. So he's right there. I mean, he's always fast at this track. So far, the finishes have been good and then not good at the same time. So you're trying to pick which side of the fence you're on in this. But I still think for a guy like Kyle Busch, plus money for a top 10 is a little bit of a misprice because he can get you a top 10 finish. It's been a rough season for him. I'm not going to read off his finishes anymore because I definitely don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But I will say that if anybody can get in the top 10 at plus money, give me Kyle Busch at plus 130.
Yeah, boy, I'm going to be rooting for this one, Rod. I'll tell you that. I will be rooting for this. I don't know if I could bet it at this point. It's because it's similar enough to the Keselowski thing that just we haven't seen too much of it this year.
Yeah, and it is frustrating because these are two veterans that have been on top of the game for a very long time. And, when you start to see them not get the results that they're used to anymore, then it sort of hurts a little bit. And that's when you start taking a step back and trying to figure out, all right, well, is this performance related? Is this in my head? Is this a Kyle Larson at a super speedway type of a thing where it's, I don't know what's going on. I can't figure out and put my thumb on it. Sometimes you just got to reevaluate. And a track like Texas, a gigantic track like Texas, gives you that opportunity to do it.
Agreed. All right, Rod. I talked about how much I like Toyotas this week. I talked about how much I like Bubba Wallace this week. Give me Bubba Wallace to be the top finishing Toyota, 6-1. This is going to be a tough market because obviously I just talked about how I think there's going to be 4 of them in the top 10. I think they're all going to be good. I think they're all going to be fast. So it's not a case of, well, you're going to have some weak Toyotas. It's just a case of his odds are the best of the guys in there that I like, that I think he could go out and just wheel to wheel be better than the other Toyotas this week, because we have seen, especially lately, from Bubba Wallace, that he can get it done on these intermediate tracks, much like we saw a few years ago. He won that Kansas race, and he's been really good here as well. 7th place finish here last year. 2 years ago, he led 111 laps on his way to finishing in 3rd place. So great runs there. He just finished 3rd place at Miami not very long ago. Intermediate track, leads 56 laps on the day. Great run. Led another 20 at Las Vegas. Had a miscue late. Not a good finish, right? So they didn't put it all together, but he was very fast. He showed up good. And actually, I think that's why we bet him at Miami, because he did look so good at Las Vegas that 1.5 mile thing seems to be back from Bubba. So in a smaller Toyota field, again, Chevy, there's 8 trillion of them out there. There's only so many Toyotas out there. I do expect a lot of Toyotas to be good, but at 6-1, I think this is worth it because I do expect a top 5 run. I'm going to give him out to win here in just a minute, spoiler alert, because I think he can have that type of day. And if he does, he could easily beat all the other Toyotas. And even if a guy like Larson wins or a Byron wins or one of these non-Toyotas wins, a 2nd, 3rd, top 5 from him could easily be a top finishing Toyota. So give me that. Then we're going to go to the top Ford market because, again, the top of the board in Ford is just all over the place. Ryan Blaney easily been the best, fastest Ford this year, but the results aren't there because they've just time and time again have had issues, made some changes in the pit crew. Things have, maybe he can put it together, but he's such a favorite that it's hard to look at, right? You go back to Las Vegas, Josh Berry actually won that race. Top Ford had to be a massive long shot. Now he's not a long shot anymore. He's at like 5-1 this week, which makes him hard to bet as well. But the point being, top Ford is open each and every single week. It can be somebody different, and there's a lot of drivers who can get it done. So went against Keselowski earlier. Sorry, RFK. Apologies. I'm going to make it up to you here because give me Chris Buescher rather to be the top finishing Ford at 7-1, 15th, 14th, 30th, and 3 starts here. So not super great results, but 6th place at Darlington, 6th place at Miami, 13th at Las Vegas. Some good, we think, oh God, RFK's not been good this season. Like Priest has been the outlier. Buscher's had some pretty good runs. 6th place at Darlington, 6th place at Miami. If you're telling me at 7-1, he's going to finish 6th place this week, that could be the top finishing Ford. Certainly, it definitely could, especially with the fast Chevys, fast Toyotas up front. I don't think you have to win this to be the best finishing Ford, most likely. He's got 4 top 10 finishes in the last 8 races this season, so he's been getting the job done. Speaking of guys that have been getting the job done, Ryan. So that was over on Caesars, by the way, 7-1. Ryan Priest's been getting the job done. He's much shorter over on Caesars than he is on Bet365. Huge price difference here. I think he was 20-1 on Caesars. I have to double check, but he's 33-1 on Bet365. So bet this sooner rather than later. It will not stay here. Last year in the Stewart-Haas 41 car, they're going out, they're done, closing shop, whatever. He was so-so in the 41. Why do you even get this 60 ride? Obviously, he's answering those questions. He finished 12th place, so he had a good run last year in the shitty 41 car. And then 9th place at Miami, 3rd place at Las Vegas. Again, wasn't the top finishing Ford at Vegas because Burton wins the not Burton. Burton doesn't win the race. The 21 wins the race. Josh Berry, rather, wins the race. But 3rd place, he was right there. He's in the mix at 33-1. Again, if you tell me he's going to finish 3rd place at 33-1, I would bet that that's the top Ford because that's definitely could happen. So give me the Buscher top Ford at 7-1, the Priest top Ford at 33-1, and then Bubba Wallace to be the top Toyota at 6-1.
I absolutely love the Priest one. The Priest one for me, that makes me because again, he's one of those guys that's so sneaky that you can just, when you're looking up, you're like, oh, who's running that? Oh my God, it's Ryan Priest, and yeah, that's definitely a good one.
And he's like, nobody saw this. I don't think anybody saw. I don't think Ryan Priest saw this coming. Like in a general sense, everyone kind of questioned, like, why is he getting this ride? Why is this the guy you'd pick to go in there? And I was high on RFK, and I specifically said multiple times, I'm high on RFK except for Priest. Obviously, I was clearly wrong there because he's been the best RFK car so far, but he's still not being respected at the books. Buscher's at 7-1. Now, granted, he's had some really good runs, but Priest has been the better performing car, and he's 33-1. It doesn't make much sense, especially in a Ford market that's wide open. Blaney is the fastest time and time again. He should be the top finishing Ford, but it's not always been the case. Logano is a complete wild card, and Cindric can be up and down. Yeah, he just won last week. Great, but and then Brad, we talked about, has not been good lately, and we obviously covered the other 2 RFK cars, and then how much do you trust Barry to get it done on a week-to-week basis in the 21? It's probably not always going to happen, right? So Ford is very wide open.
Indeed, yeah, especially because a guy like Cindric can pop his head out and then just duck back in again and hide for a while. So, all right, I'm going to turn to one of the markets that we're getting offered now on DK, and that is fastest laps. I am going to take 2 in this instance because I feel like both of these guys' names are at the top of the charts when it comes to the number of fastest laps. So the market is the most fastest laps here in the entire race. And so I'm going to take Larson, who is the top of the board, yes, at 4-1. But I'm also going to take Tyler Reddick. And when you look at the fastest laps here, when it comes to the loop data for this particular race, you'll see that it's been Reddick and it's been Larson that has topped this. In 2021, Kyle Larson had 104 of the fastest laps. And again, this doesn't mean this isn't guys that are winning this race in particular. It's just guys that are having the fastest lap through the entire race. So Larson did it in 2021 with 104 of the fastest laps. Tyler Reddick did it in 2022, 38 of the fastest laps in the race. Kyle Larson did it again last year, or in 2023 rather, with 85 of the fastest laps in the race. And then Kyle Larson did it again last year with 44. So Kyle Larson, 3 of the 4 years he's had the fastest lap here, and then Tyler Reddick took it away from him in one of those. So to me, I'm telling you, this is a market where you can grab yourself a fun little just free dip out of it, because Kyle Larson's going to be fast, and he's proven that he's just fast around this track, lap after lap after lap after lap. So I know 4-1 seems like short odds for a NASCAR race for any sort of bet, but for this type of a market, I think 4-1 is kind of a great value, given that he's done it 3 out of the last 4 seasons that we've been on this track. So, I mean, that's great. And then, of course, the only other guy to dethrone him is Tyler Reddick, and I know you're going to talk about Reddick in a little bit. So I'm covering my bases here with both of these guys just to say, hey, listen, quarter unit here, quarter unit there. I don't want to talk units, but, it's the best way to kind of get in on both of these guys, because if one of them does it and the other one doesn't, you're not going to be that disappointed. Now, if somebody comes up out of nowhere and does it, then you're going to be pissed. But, I mean, no one's other than Tyler Reddick's been able to knock Kyle Larson off of that perch over the last few seasons. So, yeah, give me the most fastest laps, Kyle Larson at 4-1 and Reddick at 10-1.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those kind of there's not been a ton of, it's newer, right? So that's part of it, but not been a ton of stuff on the fast lap stuffs. And we hit the McDowell 16-1 to just be the fastest lap of the race last year. This is most fastest laps, right? So each lap, somebody is a fastest lap guy and it adds up. But I think that this is the way to do it, is bet these two guys, because these are the two guys most capable in the field. Now, there's other guys, right? Byron, Hamlin, there's some guys who can go out and just control the race. But the two guys who are most likely to control this type of race on an intermediate track is Larson, is Reddick. The stats are there to show it in the past. Larson just did it at Las Vegas not too long ago, intermediate track again. Might be better to bet him on this market than the outright, because what if he has the most fastest laps, has a great race, but something happens late and he doesn't win like Las Vegas? We just saw it, right? We just saw it recently. It happened. So I think that this is a great way to get in on him. And it's still a good number of 4-1. I was actually, when you put this in here, I kind of looked at the market and I was like, wow, it's interesting that for as dominant of a race car driver as he is, as fast as that 5 car is a lot, that he's actually at this big of a number, I think is a bit surprising. And then Reddick at 10-1, I absolutely love that as well. So yeah, no arguments there. Do we have the car list thing loaded in here?
I took it away from you this week because I'm punishing you for this one. I'll bring it back next week when you don't have this guy.
Okay. Justin, real quick, saying he did say this earlier in the chat. We didn't get to it, but Brad Cater retires sooner rather than later and Priest to the 6. I do not see that happening. I know that Rod has been trying to retire Brad for 5 seasons, it seems like. But I think Brad is fine being a race car driver. I think, and he's down right now, right? And we're going to kick him a little bit while he's down, because we're here to make money, and that's what you got to do. He's going to be fine. They're going to figure things out. We've already seen this RFK team kind of seesaw a little bit, right? And they started out in the next gen car, it was bad, and then things got better, and they start racking off some wins, and then that kind of dip back down again. He's going to be fine. They're going to figure it out at some point, and maybe this is the week that they do. I'm not saying he's for sure going to have a bad day, but what we've seen this season, I think you do have to bet against him, especially with some of the options you're getting. But they're going to figure stuff out eventually. He's going to be fine. They've got, with the Kroger sponsorship, I mean, they're going to have 3 cars for a long time. So not really any reason to move Priest into the 6 car, I don't think. So I don't think that we need to be sending Keselowski off into the ever after just yet, Rob.
Even though I want to, even though that's my thing about old drivers, I will say this: he doesn't have anything else to prove anymore. There's nothing on his resume. I think that okay, I'm sure he wants himself.
I mean, these guys always have something to prove, but in a general sense, yeah. He hasn't won the 500, but otherwise, champion of the sport, he's won all the other crown jewels.
Mm-hmm.
He's got everything else, marked off there. So, oh boy, what is going on here?
It's all right. We'll get you there.
We're okay. Anyways,
this is what happens. I took away the car lift from you, and now I'm taking away your video.
So take away the video. You don't need a video for this, Rod. Break out the car lift. I was gonna just scream loudly to scare some of you while you're driving, because that's what the car lift does anyways. But I'll save you from that. Give me the Carson Hocevar ride the Dente car lift. That's right. This is a different kind of car lift because he is definitely a longer shot. But Carson Hocevar, Texas, 2 things that get along. Tune in hopefully tomorrow, for the Xfinity and Truck Show. He's going to be in the Truck Series race. I'm going to be talking about him a shit ton there. Hocevar at Texas is a great thing. So we're going to take his top 10 plus 280, top finishing Chevy at 25-1. And to win the race, over on BetMGM, you can get him at 80-1. I think that Carson Hocevar is going to have a race where he could be the winner at the end of the day. It's a long shot for a reason, for sure, but I think he could get it done. 10th place finish here last year. In which car was he in last year? He was in the 77, right? I think I said earlier that Zane Smith was in that car. He was in the 71, but Hocevar, 10th place finish here in the 77 car last year. which is still the car he's in. Obviously, that makes sense. The year before, filling in for Noah Gragson, shortly after Gragson got suspended, or I don't think he got suspended. I think he just left for a bit. Anyways, had a 16th place finish here in that 42 car in 2023. Again, they were kind of going through some stuff at the time and change. That was their lame duck year. They were switching from Chevy to Toyota, all sorts of things, but still has a good run in it. Won here the last time he was here in the Truck Series in 2023. 4th place finish the race before that in 2022. I am just a big Carson Hocevar guy. This is a big week for Carson Hocevar. So I'm going to ride that car lift. It's this is a smaller car lift, right? It's nothing too crazy. The top 10 even is a longer shot at plus 280. So, don't go crazy on it, but going to take the top 5 if you want to sprinkle some, or we're going to take the top 10 if you want to sprinkle some top 5. Go for it. I wouldn't mind that at all. And then I'll take that top Chevy in that to win number. I think it's going to be a strong week for Mr. Hocevar.
No. That is my retort to that. I don't join you on that car lift. In fact, like I said in the Discord, I'm just going to kick out the jack and run it into a jack man.
Which you have by taking away both my my car lift graphic and my ability to be on camera at the moment.
This is what happens when you piss off the producer. I'm just saying this is not the working relationship you need after 612 episodes. All right. The only way that I will be happy if Carson Hocevar wins is if he cashes the following bet. And I'm going back to the winning car number again. I'm going to take the winning car number over 21.5. This is at plus 145 over on Caesars. So winning car number over 21.5 at plus 145. And then I'm going to take 24 plus. They give you those fun number bands. I'm going to take 24 plus at 180 because, again, it gives you William Byron, who's won this before with that 24 plus. Plus, it also gives you guys like I said, the only guy I'm going to be happy about, the only time I'm going to be happy if Carson Hocevar wins is because he's going to cash this bet. And that's the 77. It gives you Tyler Reddick at the 45, who's won this race before. Daniel Suarez, who we talked about, is fast at this track. If he jumps up and accidentally gets a win out of this one, then that's fine too. So there's 3 or 4 good cars that I like out of this. And another one, if the number 54 car decides to get a win out of this particular race, then I'm covered there too on that one. So this is 24 plus is more of a, all right, fine. If they win, that'll make me happy type of a situation. So that's what the 24 plus is. And then the over 21.5 actually picks up some of the slack, like William Byron, who I like for this race. And I'll talk about him in a little bit too, but okay. Kyle Larson's of the world, the guys underneath this. Really, if you look at it this way, right? The only person I'm scared of below this number more than anything is Kyle Larson. And I think if you're going to do that, just bet him outright and be happy about that. I'm not high on Busch winning this race. I mean, Elliott could win this race. Hamlin, not scared. Blaney, not scared. Like a lot of these guys under 21.5, I'm not necessarily all that scared about. So, and plus, not only that, the 21.5 also gives you Bubba Wallace in that mix too. So if he's as fast as he's supposed to be this week and he wins this race, then he's cashing you this bet as well. So really, this is more of just I feel better about a lot of the guys on the other side of the 20s than I do underneath them. So I'm just going to lump them all together. So give me the winning car number. That'll be over 21.5 at plus 145 and then 24 plus at plus 180.
Yeah, I actually kind of like both these. I have 4 outrights I'm giving out this week, and 3 of them are over 21.5. So not going to get much of an argument from me. Shout out to Ash pointing out that Caesars and Bovada both have trucks and Xfinity odds up already. Which means, Rod, you could bet Carson Hocevar to win the Cup race and the truck race. Put them together. It's plus 38,150. $10 would win you $3,815. Thank me later. All right, let's get to the rest of my winners.
I look like a little big puking emoji right now.
I was surprised my video stayed on this time. Rod didn't take me down again. So here we go. Okay, obviously Hocevar is going to win this race, but just in case he does not, Tyler Reddick might win it. Plus 750 over on DraftKings is the best number I've found on him. I love Tyler Reddick. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you know that. Really a believer in his talent. I haven't touched him too much this season, but this is the week that I'm feeling it. In 2022, the first next-gen race here, he actually won this race in the number 8 car that, of course, Kyle Busch now drives. He led 36 laps here in 2023, where he won stage 1. things happen. Didn't get a good result. Finished in 25th, which common theme, especially 2 years ago for this 45 team. It still pops up every once in a while, but for the most part, they've cleaned things up. Last year leads another 37 laps, finishes in 4th. So really been in contention and led all 3 next-gen races here. Of course, winning one of them in easily the worst of the 2 cars he's driven in his time here. So you look back earlier this season, Darlington, again, intermediate track. He's led 42 laps there with a 4th-place finish. Miami, he finished in 8th. Las Vegas, he led another 34 laps. Another case of didn't execute at the end, things didn't go right, and finished in 24th place. So that's always kind of much like Larson, right? It's getting to the end and not overstepping these guys who are just so uberly talented. That can be the problem at times. But plus 750, I really like Reddick this week. At 23.11, the speed, especially that we've seen from Bubba Wallace lately, that's going to continue to translate into Tyler's car. They are going to share that information, and it's probably going to translate into Denny too, even over on a different team technically, because obviously he owns the team. So speaking of 2311, speaking of Toyota, speaking of all that, Bubba Wallace at 18-1 on DraftKings. His number is all over the board. He's as low as 14-1 in some places, 18-1. Again, DraftKings was the biggest number that I found on that. So shout out to them for that. But I love Bubba Wallace this week. Bubba Wallace, again, he's shown us as I try to flip through my notes. I know I've got Bubba Wallace notes in here somewhere if I could keep things organized. I talked about him earlier, obviously just a little bit ago here with the Top Toyota thing, but 7th place last year, led 111 laps of the 3rd place finish 2 years ago. Just a great race by him. He controlled and dominated that race. I have to look, but I think he started on the pole. Like, he was just off to the races right away and led a ton of laps in that one back in 2023. And we've seen it from him this year. Looked so fast at Las Vegas, and you're like, whoa, there is that 23 car that we saw on these intermediate tracks be so fast for a while that fell off. Like the last 2 years for the most part outside of Texas, I guess, because he still was good here. Like Kansas, where we expect a lot and you wouldn't really get much from him. But we saw that at Las Vegas again. Again, the late miscue and doesn't get the result, but we saw it there. Then he goes to Miami, leads 56 laps there, has the 3rd place finish. So we've seen the little bits and pieces that we need. At 18-1, I do like Bubba Wallace this week. And let's make it a Toyota sweep in the outrights market here. That's right. I put the voodoo doll away. You're welcome, Chase Briscoe fans. Give me Chase Briscoe, 20-1 on MGM. Another guy who's all over the board in different places. MGM, clearly the best line here at 20-1. I think he was, again, as low as 13, 14 on some books. So, but Chase Briscoe, in the 19 car, a fast JGR car, a talented driver who we talked about it earlier, 3rd best average finish of the next-gen drivers on this track. Kind of surprisingly, in that 14 car, like, wasn't the greatest car at Stewart-Haas, but had really good runs there. 6th, 10th, 5th of the last 3 races. You just saw a 4th place finish at Miami, so he's shown the improvement, shown the speed. Top 10 in 3 of the last 4. Quote-unquote normal ovals, leaving Talladega out of that. But the regular races we've had lately, they seem to have started to put things together, and it's checking off. This is now where we pounce because they've sort of fallen asleep on Briscoe, as maybe they should have because he hasn't performed well, but he's going to have better performances. This is your opportunity to grab him before that number once again shrinks. So, give me Reddick 750 on DraftKings, Bubba 18-1 on DraftKings, and Briscoe 20-1 over on MGM.
Yeah, for Briscoe, it's just a matter of him we talked about it too. He's got to get comfortable in that 19, right? And it's all, and yeah, Justin saying, who can forget? All we heard was Reddick last year.
Yeah, all you heard was regular season champion, made it to the Final Four. I was almost right on all of it. Thank you very much, Justin. And John calling his shot saying Denny Hamlin for the win. Hamlin didn't make either of our cards, but to my 23-11 and Toyota points, I expect a pretty solid day from Denny as well.
Well, okay, just to say it for Denny, he is tied right now with Kyle Larson and William Byron as far as the speed rankings on the heat chart at iFantasy. However, if you're looking for his finishing position heat chart, he's down in 11th. So he's fast. He's just not getting the finishes that you would want out of an 11-car fan. So, all right, I'm going to take William Byron plus 650 over on Hard Rock. I wanted to take Kyle Larson. I thought about that for a second, but I was like, you know what? For William Byron, he is the fastest car as far as him and Kyle Larson together and Denny Hamlin. Like I said, all three of them have an average speed ranking of 4 on this track, and they're all three tied for first place. But he does have the best average finish in the next-gen era on this track, 7th in 2022, 1st in 2023, 3rd in 2024. So that's a 3.7 average finish in the next-gen era. 2 places better than Brad Keselowski, little over 3 places better than Chase Briscoe and Daniel Suarez, and on and on and on. So for William Byron, again, he's one of the fastest guys on the track each and we talked about these fastest laps, right? When we talked about Tyler Reddick and we talked about Kyle Larson earlier, William Byron's name pops up there just constantly as well when it comes to how fast he is around Texas. And so for William Byron, this has been one of those seasons, right? We saw him come out to a great early lead, wins at Daytona, has trouble at Atlanta, but that happens. Then 2nd on Coda, 6th at Phoenix, 4th at Vegas, a little bit of a slump, 12th at Miami, 22nd at Martinsville, but then he's ramped it back up again. 2nd at Darlington, 6th at Bristol, 3rd at Talladega. He managed to keep himself out of the fracas enough to finish 3rd over there and he had himself in the lead too for a hot second that he was almost winning that race. So maybe, just maybe, William Byron's heating up a little bit, and plus 650 right now on Hard Rock. That's the best number I found. That's a really damn good number for a guy who has a win on this track in the next gen era. And we know needs to get hot again, because as he's starting to cool down in the summer months, he's got to have one more flourish where he's going to be good again. And I think that includes a win, and that includes a win on this track. So yeah, give me William Byron as my outright at plus 650.
Checks calendar, not summer yet. You can still bet on Byron.
Yeah, just like it's Check's calendar, it is not an even year. You cannot bet Joey Logano.
That's right.
So, sometimes you got to, set your clock to these guys. That's just the way this works. So, all right, Cody, that's the card, my friend. Let's tell everybody now to get out your trusty, I have a pen, but get out your pen and paper, and we're going to go over our bets for this Würth 400 from the Texas Motor Speedway. I started you out with Ross Chastain over Brad Keselowski at minus 125. I also gave you Daniel Suarez as a top 10 car at plus 220. Kyle Busch as a top 10 car at plus 130. I said that either Kyle Larson or Tyler Reddick would have the fastest lap. Larson in this race. Larson at 4-1, Reddick at 10-1. I also said the winning car number would be over 21.5 at plus 145, or 24 or more at plus 180. And I also gave you William Byron as the winner of the race. Cody gave you Chase Briscoe over Joey Logano at minus 105. He also gave you Ty Gibbs over Brad Keselowski at minus 125. Gave you Chase Elliott as a top 10 car at plus 100. Bowman as a top 10 car at plus 130. Ty Dillon as a top 10 car at 14-1. He said that there would be over 3.5 Toyotas in the top 10 at plus 135. He gave you Bubba Wallace as a top Toyota at 6-1. He gave you Chris Buescher 7-1. Ryan Preece 33-1 as the top Ford. He's riding the Carson Hocevar car lift. Top 10 plus 280. Top Chevy 25-1, and to win 80-1. He's also giving you Tyler Reddick to win at 7.5-1. Bubba Wallace at 18-1 to win, and Briscoe at 20-1 to win this race.
I think I could probably clip out that pause and get you saying the Hocevar car lift and then reading off all the odds.
You probably could. You probably could. Although I don't know why you would. This is the bit now, right? This is the I hate Carson Hocevar bit, and we're gonna have to roll with it because I've already sunk all of my my earnings into it.
When he wins the truck race and the cup race this week, Rod, I think it's gonna be hard for you to hate the guy anymore.
I will. Okay, listen. Okay, all right. Here's the thing. If he
hits this extremely crazy long shot, I'll suddenly
if he hits this extremely crazy, I will walk into a Chili's with some sort of Carson Hocevar something on it, and I will make the server serve me something Carson Hocevar related. I don't know. We'll come up with a good one, but yeah, fine. If he wins the truck and the cup race, then we'll come up with something at Chili's, and I'll have to tape myself doing it.
Deal. Sounds
post it up on social. All right. Good stuff. All right. Well then, Cody, that is it. We will leave this here, and we'll come back tomorrow, hopefully, with some Xfinity and some trucks, but that is the cup episode for the day.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, everybody out there, and thanks for putting up with us trying to bumble our way through. It's crazy.
We'll get these technical stuff cleaned up as we continue to learn this new system. So thanks for riding with us. We appreciate it. Good luck this weekend at Texas. Hopefully be back tomorrow. Well, we'll be back tomorrow either way, but should be with Xfinity and Truck Series picks. Odds already being out is definitely a good sign. So hopefully all the props will be soon to follow. So join us for that. And then back with DFS Underdog Talk on Thursday. Let's catch some bigger bets in Texas. I think that's how they do it. In the meantime, Rod, follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb, where you can find all of my stuff. Follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. See you guys tomorrow.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you check out the back road. Seth Elliott and I are going to be talking about Texas on Thursday. And then, man, listen, I have been in the lab right now coming up with all kinds of crazy stuff. You want darts? I got darts. You want some esports? I got esports. You want some, what did I just do earlier today? I did some Formula One. What did I do that was crazy that I didn't do before? I don't know. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. Find it all on my Twitter at RJ Villagomez. There's a lot and there's more coming. So love you all. We will see you tomorrow. And until then, everybody, let's go racing and let it ride.